Mayweather-Pacquiao 2 is on at the Sphere on Netflix. I'm going to roll the clip before we get into this from last time. So,
It's Conor Ben, bro. That's the
no
fight.
chance it's Manny Pacquiao rematch on Netflix or something like that. Some bullshit like that. Okay, now that I've rolled that clip from last time where I said Mayweather Pacquiao 2, you could hear my excitement in that clip about the potential of Mayweather Pacquiao 2 at Netflix, and I'm just as excited now as I was when I said it then. And my initial impression of this fight is to both make fun of it and tell the truth of it, and then also find a way to grift off of it and make money off of it. I'm going to do the former and kind of maybe consider also doing the latter as well. But here we are, Mayweather Pacquiao 2, September, Mexican Independence Day weekend at the Sphere. Yeah, Raheem, what are your opening thoughts about this?
Well, I hope now that you've run your clip that you will subsequently run my clip after the Pacquiao Barrios fight when I said that this is the next fight I want for Pacquiao. I saw a tweet almost immediately after this fight was announced asking, who wants this? Who asked for this? I did. I've been waiting for this fight for 11 years. This is a fight that I asked for, that I want, that I'm finally getting. I'm not making fun of it. I'm not joking. I can't wait for this rematch. I think Pacquiao deserves another fight with Floyd Mayweather. I think Pacquiao has a great chance of winning the rematch with Floyd Mayweather. He's just come off a draw with the former WBC welterweight champion.
Who looked
He
oh so
is,
good 2 nights ago.
listen, Floyd Mayweather is warming up, uh, has a tune-up for this fight, and it's Mike Tyson. I say Pacquiao is sharp and ready and in shape and has been ready for this fight for 11 years. And it's finally here. It's finally time. Netflix is the proper venue for it. Eh, It's 2026, and I think from the gate, we knew this was going to be a wild year. Weird fights, unusual matchups, new platforms, and everybody is trying to get back in the game because the getting is so good. If anybody deserves one more bite at that apple, it's Manny Pacquiao. If anybody deserves this rematch, who has been brooding for it and begging for it and asking for it for 11 years, it's Radio Raheem.
Right. So okay, full disclaimer before we get into this. There is a Manny Pacquiao poster right there from his fight with Miguel Cotto from 17 years ago now. And there is it's very faint because it's whited out, but you can make out the Floyd, there it is, the Floyd letters in that painting that is cut off halfway through. That is a Floyd Mayweather painting for the Shane Mosley fight that I was so excited to and took my now wife to with my family, and that was 16 years ago. So I got a lot of love for Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. I grew up in high school and middle school ordering their fights on pay per view, having fight parties, and then getting a chance to actually cover these two legends. um, my early pick is that their debt collectors and the IRS win this fight by unanimous decision. But yeah, I think no, I'm just kidding. I think I have Floyd Mayweather winning, and then here's my shot from half court, having to wind up fighting Terrence Crawford somehow, some way on some platform. Yeah, that's my early prediction on this fight. There's people that talk to me in boxing that I really respect who say Manny Pacquiao will never beat Floyd Mayweather at any age they fight. I will say though, even though I'm almost I got they have to find a way to make. I'll hold back a little bit. They have to pave a way for Mayweather and Crawford somehow, and I think here's the thing though. In spite of that prediction, The last thing to go is supposed to be in boxing of yesteryear that was held as traditional cliches that always worked pretty much for 100 years. The last thing to go is the power, and the first thing to go are the legs. You would think advantage Manny Pacquiao, but to use another cliche that has developed in all of sports in the last 15 or 20 years, today with modern medicine and modern strength and conditioning techniques that those rules don't apply the way they once did. And I saw that in Manny Pacquiao's fight with Mario Barrios. Manny Pacquiao in any other era, a fighter that relies a huge chunk of his game on his athleticism, his speed, his ability to dart in and out. He was able to still do that particularly at age 46, pretty good against Mario Barrios to the point where if anybody won that fight, he did no worse than a draw. He won it. So the rules that would have applied before about Floyd's athleticism being gone and Manny's athleticism gone, maybe not really in the modern era. So yeah, who do you got winning in part two?
So
Yeah,
one thing I
we
will
only got
do,
7 months to we got to get our picks in now.
we
There's no time to
only have
deliberate.
7 months to figure this out.
That's
Well, I don't
it.
need 7 months, 7 seconds. As soon as I heard the announcement, and really to be fair, you told me days ago. We spoke about it months ago. You've been convinced of this for quite some time, and so I've already had my mind conditioned that this could eventuality could be upon us at any time, and it's finally here. One thing I will tell you when it's the case is when I'm biased. And I'm biased, Sean. I grew up at Wild Card Boxing Gym. I was there when Manny Pacquiao walked through the door. He is a huge part in making this career of mine what it is. Yeah, I interviewed him for the first time on a air conditioning system at Vagabond Hotel, which is right next door to Manny Pacquiao's now world famous wild card boxing gym, owned by Freddie Roach, which was almost newly opened. And the Vagabond Hotel is aptly named. It was a broken down, crappy hotel with 6 or 7 other Filipino hopefuls sharing one room. And from that day on, the legend began. I filmed him running the hills at Griffith Park. My videos of him training and sparring have gone worldwide, bootlegged in the Philippines and in China. I've been on this whole ride from the beginning. And in fact, a fun little Snapple fact is the first fight I actually attended as a fan because I was banned from Mayweather-Pacquiao 1 by Team Mayweather. So Mayweather-Pacquiao 2, I'm gonna be on the Pacquiao bench. Listen, this is fun for me. Like Floyd Mayweather, also, we have a storied past. I respect him a ton. I poke a lot of fun at him and troll him sometimes, and he's done the same to me for many years as I covered his many fights. And this one right here is something special. I want Manny Pacquiao to end his career with a win over Floyd Mayweather. I'd like for this rivalry to end in a draw. I think Manny Pacquiao has continued to fight, continued to be the same guy that I met on that fateful day in Wild Card Boxing Gym and interviewed on that radiator as he supported 6 or 7 other Filipino hopefuls on their journey. And ever since that day has been carrying the country on his back and the most generous guy you'll ever meet in boxing. This would be a great bookend for his story. Yes, Floyd Mayweather is the superior talent, has obviously the unblemished record, should go in as the favorite in the first fight. But however, in this fight, I'm not sure that all of that is true. We'll see if we see and can be shown anything in this Mike Tyson exhibition. I doubt that we'll see much of anything, but for me, this is Pacquiao's opportunity to write the end of his story in Hollywood fashion. I want to see him win it. I want to see this happen in front of the world on Netflix. I'm gonna be ringside for it, and I'm gonna be admittedly Team Pacquiao for this one.
Not gonna happen. Floyd's gonna win and then have to fight Terrence Crawford. So now, since we're being self-indulgent, which is not the most professional thing to do, I'm very familiar with the Vagabond Inn. That is where the legend of Sean Zettel began in Las Vegas, Nevada. When we moved from Brooklyn, Vietnam, and then had our pit stop in San Francisco for a few months. And then when we made it here, we stayed at what is the now no longer existing Vagabond Inn for a week or two before we settled into Las Vegas, across the street from the Treasure Island, back when they had a fun pirate show. So now that I've told the audience that for absolutely no reason, what this fight reminds me of a little bit is the wrestling. Well, while we're ruffling feathers, wrestling to me has sucked since like 2002-ish. And if you enjoy it, please take your child to it and buy yourself a large popcorn and enjoy it. Have fun. I don't want to enjoy nice things. Have a great life if you're enjoying wrestling, okay? But to me, yeah, it's sucked for like over 20 years now. And I remember when I would tune into it every now and then, sometimes to watch it to see how bad it is, to be entertained by that. But then it was so boring, I couldn't even get through it with Samantha, unfortunately. But I could, but she thought it was too boring. Anyways, there would be the current stars would never quite be able to draw like The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin or Hulk Hogan, and so they would like bring Bill Goldberg back in his 50s to be literally become their champion, and they'd bring back old stars to try to get some ratings and give it a shot in the arm. And while we've got some talented young fighters and fighters in their prime right now, part of me wonders, is this a little bit of an indictment on them? Because if, no, I guess not. Because if Mike Tyson had come back in a fight after he got knocked out by Kevin McBride, even at the peak of Mayweather-Pacquiao, it would have been a huge show. But that was just a thought that crossed my mind, that if everyone was selling the way Mayweather and Pacquiao were able to sell, which was drawing hundreds of millions of dollars, there's guys getting paid a lot of money, but not drawing anywhere near the money they did. Would there really be a market for this like that? But hey, it's 2026. There was a market for Jake Paul. There was a market for, so yeah. This is
Listen,
just the norm.
let me settle into this conversation because, of course, it began a little tongue in cheek, I think, from both of us, just because
A lot.
we've been in the game a long time. This is a legacy play for us. This is something that we have both experienced in these two fighters' careers, and we're gonna make it relative to ourselves at the outset of our initial reaction. But if you take the emotion that I have invested in this fight, the history that you have invested in this fight, and the two careers that we're talking about, I think it is indicative really of an era of boxing. And this is not just some old timer kind of exhibition like I expect to see against Mayweather and Mike Tyson. This is going to be a fight that both of these guys want to win. Like,
Of
you know,
course.
all the criticism aside and who wants it and how late it is and how old they are and all the things that you're going to hear in the next 7 months, which may all be true up and into the point where you say that it won't be competitive or these guys are not coming prepared to win and lay it all on the line as if it were 11 years ago, or if it were the 17 years ago it should have been when they first fought, and they should have fought the first time was 17 years ago and they didn't. This is still as important to each one of these guys as it ever was, maybe more so, as this is likely to really, for sure, absolutely be the last time they get a chance to beat each other. The first fight was underwhelming. I don't think anybody left that arena satisfied except maybe Floyd Mayweather. This fight will be better than the first fight. It will be better, Sean. That first fight was boring. It was a sleeper. Pacquiao's shoulder was injured. Mayweather, I think, had some
It looked
funny
fine when he
dealings
released a
with
couple
his
of 20 punch
flushings.
combinations with Floyd on the ropes when he hurt him in the fourth and sixth round. Looked pretty fine then in
Well,
those two instances.
Ryan Garcia's hand was hurt on Saturday night, but he was able to land a ton of right hands, regardless, because he was motivated to fight through the pain. I don't think that first fight was indicative of either one of really them at their best or the kind of action that you could get out of it. Now that they are old and they know this is their last shot at it, and I believe the competitive nature of both of these guys still burns incredibly bright. They're gonna want to win, and they're gonna probably have more exchanges, a lot less holding, a lot more action than we got the first time, which isn't gonna be that hard to beat, to be honest. I I'm not even joking when I say I'm excited
No, I
about this
know.
fight. And I think we have to look at, yes, these guys are old. No, we'll never have had an opportunity to see them in their prime, and that is a crime. But I feel like this fight just might be shockingly entertaining and surprisingly live up to the Netflix platform and all the hype you're about to hear for the next 7 months, and prove wrong the countless naysayers and poo-pooers that you're gonna have to hear analyze this upcoming bout. This is gonna be a classic. I'm calling it right now. This is gonna be a classic. They're not so old that they can't fight at all anymore, or they can't train, or they can't prepare for a good scrap. They're not that old, right? This is going to be the last dance of two legends, the absolute hallmark of their era, and they're going to approach this fight like all the fucking marbles are on the table. This is the redemption play for Pacquiao. Nothing else matters. This is the fight that he wants to win more than anything else he's ever done in his career. And Mayweather could not possibly stomach losing that O, especially to a rematch with Pacquiao in 2026. He can't even fathom it. So believe and trust that these guys are going to scrap like their lives depend on it. I think it's going to be damn entertaining to watch.
Or it could be Leonard Duran 3. But I think that, look, Gervonta messed up against the Jake Paul fight, and you were going to be on the Netflix documentary series and everything. I think Netflix needs to give you a job for this fight, okay? Because that was a very good sell job, jokes aside. And to your point, Jim Lampley used to have an old, he used to say, sometimes fights and in particular rematches, because it was really Ali Frazier 3 that birthed this theory that when you get fighters when they're older and their reflexes have diminished and they're easier to hit, sometimes you get a better fight than when they were younger. And yeah, okay, but I still think Leonard Hearns 1 was better than Leonard Hearns 2, even though I like Leonard Hearns 2 a lot. I still think Ali Frazier 1 was as good as Ali Frazier 3. Maybe Ali Frazier 3 was a little more violent, but they were both great anyways. I'm not convinced of that. And when they fought the first fight, at least it was for the legitimate unified and lineal welterweight title of the world. The fight left something to be desired. They weren't at their peak form anymore, but Pacquiao did hurt Mayweather twice in the fourth and the sixth round. Wasn't a really good fight, but it wasn't a terrible fight. But that's not exactly living up to expectations. So we'll see. We'll see. All of my jokes aside, we'll see. Definitely not out of the question that something like a Pacquiao knockout happens, or if Mayweather, because once upon a time the legs were the first thing to go, he can't rely on them as much and turn him as much in the center of the ring, and is forced to keep Pacquiao off of him in the pocket a little bit more. Maybe you get what you're talking about. Okay. I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility. Why do you think Floyd Mayweather is doing this fight now when he never wanted to before? And I even think he may have said in interviews before he was never going to give Pacquiao his rematch.
Well, the other thing that you have to consider is sports science. I mean, it's not the 80s. It's not certainly not the 70s. The ability in 7 months for an older but not ancient athlete to prepare for one night of competition, there's a lot more available to them to get ready to perform at a higher level than any of the fighters that you just mentioned, simply because we're at an advanced time in technology. And that leaves aside any kind of potential enhancing supplements, shall we say. Who knows what the testing regimen is going to be for this fight or when it begins? I'm
or
not
if there will be
suggesting that
one
either
at
guy
all.
would do anything out of competition, but if they're out of competition, they're out of competition. And again, there's a lot of options available to a older but still young enough body to get in there and perform way more effectively than fighters of eras gone by. uh, of course, the comment section is going to be full of they're just in it for the money. There's no question that the money is the motivator, that they're going to want the biggest payday possible, that I'm sure whatever the zeros are on Floyd Mayweather's check was finally just too attractive for him to turn down. And he believes he can win this fight, I'm sure. There's no question that money is a part of the equation. Even when I say Floyd's not broke, it doesn't mean that he can't be motivated by money or he doesn't want a big check or he can't use more money. I just don't believe when people say he's broke, it's not your kind of broke, bro. Especially if you can go get this kind of money, then you're not broke. If he could get loans based on a potential fight that he might have. He has assets. And even if he's got bills to pay, he can pay them because he can go back to the bank, which is his own career, and tap a resource at any time. So people are so excited to say somebody's broke, so invested in somebody not having any money anymore who has been filthy rich. He is not and will never be your kind of broke. And it's a little weird that you celebrate it so excitedly, that it gives you so much energy and joy to think of him as broke. Whether you like the guy or not, it's absolutely nonsense, first of all, if you think he's living paycheck to paycheck in the way that you are. And it's just weird that you like that narrative so much. It's about to go get crazy money. He's about to get plenty of money out of this Tyson fight. He, I believe, settled with Heyman for some undisclosed figure and probably will settle with Showtime for some undisclosed figure. There is no question that Floyd Mayweather has money and can get money. As long as you can reliably get money, you're not broke. And this fight, I do believe services something in both guys. I think they both want to win it. And Floyd Mayweather would not give Manny Pacquiao this fight out of the kindness of his heart or even out of the spirit of competition. But for that money and for an opportunity to beat Pacquiao even more convincingly and shut down any kind of narrative that I might be having as far as Pacquiao's shoulder or whether or not the fight was really as decisive as everybody says or whether or not Floyd Mayweather is better than Terrence Crawford ultimately and can come back at near 50 and still dominate a Pacquiao. All of those things are in the mix. Again, money is the ultimate motivator, but it's not because they're broke. It's because they can. It's because they can. And this is the kind of money that you don't turn down if you can get it. It might just turn out to be worth the money, is my point. And what's wrong with that? I think this is a fight that not only am I excited to happen, it should happen. It kind of needs to happen. This is probably the last time it could happen. I don't want them both to be in their 50s and try to have this fight. This is right at the line where we can still say, you know what? Both of these guys can mount a very competitive fight and might just entertain in a way that no one is going to see coming in the next 7 months and turn out to have fight of the year.
Okay, yeah, we'll see. I was
And
just
by the way, Netflix, you know my number. You've got my email address. You heard that pitch. Hit me up. I like money too.